Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mancave Live. I'm Rafael Elia.
And I'm John Jackson. Please follow us on our Mancave Twitter. That's capital M, Mancave NY Sports, capital as well. And our individual Twitters at John_John97 Jackson, Raf_Elia.
I've influenced him now.
Yes, yeah.
We have a bunch on the agenda and far too little time to talk about it. So
Absolutely.
We're going to delve right in after we introduce our new official, the Mancave t-shirts. So for those of you listening, I'll describe it, and then if you catch our visual show later on when we upload that to YouTube, you could see it. So I'm gonna have John stand up and he'll show off the shirt. In the front, we have the Mancave logo followed by Sports Talk Show, and then if you turn around, John, you see again the Mancave logo with the terms in red: YouTube, subscribe, which all of you are well encouraged to do.
Please do. Please subscribe.
Now let's get right in. We're going to start with this business involving D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young. So here's the alleged report. I'm reading this off just so that I don't make any discrepancies. It was a video emerging Tuesday that allegedly showed D'Angelo Russell secretly videotaping and recording a conversation in which he asked teammate Nick Young questions about being with another woman. So, how this surfaced is beyond them, is beyond us.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that stays out of the limelight a lot. You have to, when you have this many athletes, you have to be aware that they're not going to be, what's the word for it? They're not going to be loyal to their spouse, I guess is the best way to put it, all the time. But you rarely hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, this shouldn't be a part of basketball. And right now, when you're mentioning basketball news in the present, this is really the only thing they're talking about now, and it shouldn't be. This is the last thing basketball needs, the last thing they need as a team. I mean, you want to focus on actual gameplay. You don't want to focus on things like this.
And I'd venture to say they're going to lose today's game just based on this. I mean, they
had
guys. These guys aren't even showing up to they're. Nick Young, I think, was out the other day because of a stomach ailment, which is not true.
Yeah,
obviously.
that's bogus.
But that it's gonna impact the way that they're playing.
Obviously, yeah, it's a mess. I mean, everything's just everything, every side.
The media knows how to steer clear of this, I think, pretty well, because they'll bring in a lot, but you never really hear the media delving into their personal lives. So it's how it was released is what's concerning, honestly. I just it's a big story, it's trending, we had to mention it.
Yeah.
So if you have any comments or anything, feel free.
Tweet us out.
I'm a very big fan of just going into the sporting aspect. I hate off-field issues, but they're part of the game.
Yeah, it always seems to happen with some team, some sport, somewhere. But let's move on.
And yeah, Ethan tweeted out a good point that it's a shame that Kobe in his last season now has to deal with this in the locker room.
100%. Absolutely.
100%.
The story around the Lakers was Kobe in his last season. It's a positive story.
No matter how bad they're doing, you have at least that positive.
No, exactly. If you think the Lakers, there's two things you're thinking of. How they're just a terrible team, but how it's Kobe's last season.
100%.
So that's good.
That's the only thing that should be going on in the locker room.
Yeah, now you have this, and this is just a mess.
And let's go, let's change it, because I really can't talk much about it.
Exactly.
It's not sports to me. That's an issue that they're going to have to deal with and that they have to deal with themselves. But actually, I have a question for you. What do you do now if you're a teammate that has nothing to do with this? You're going to get vultured by the media now. Every media outlet. I'm not even talking about sports media. Entertainment media now, because you had Iggy Azalea involved.
Yeah.
You have MTV probably. What is it?
TMZ. Yeah. All
you
that.
have all these guys.
Just a mess.
What do you do now if you're an athlete and
you gotta avoid it?
You avoid it, or
if a question arises, if a question is asked to you, you have to say, "I'm only talking basketball."
Okay, so
I'm only talking basketball.
Now there are two things I have to say, right? You either do that, right? But then everyone has to agree with that, because then as soon as somebody says something, then everyone's
I'm saying they have to have a team-wide meeting
and say
with everybody and say nobody talk about this.
But then also you can't defend it. You can't spin your side of the story.
Yeah.
But You know what? I agree with you. I think you stay silent, and I think the whole team as a whole has to agree with that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. We
Ethan brought up a topic that you and me mentioned before the show. This could affect the Yankees. It's Andrew Miller in the spring training game. He just got a liner off his right wrist, and he had to leave the game.
Yeah.
As a Yankee fan, are you scared about this?
It's always something to be concerned with, especially in a pitching core. Obviously, Aroldis Chapman is not going to be with the Yankees for the beginning portion of the season due to suspension. And we had that. That was our core right there. Dylan Betances, Andrew Miller, Aroldis Chapman. That's what the praise was coming into the season. But now you have two guys. I'm not going to speculate. I'm hoping Andrew Miller is going to be okay. And I'm hoping this is nothing to be concerned with. But now you have that question mark. Is he going to be able to start the season?
That's
you
gonna
already
hurt.
don't have Aroldis Chapman.
It's gonna hurt,
and that's the strength of the team.
That
you don't
is absolutely the strength of the team. Everybody's saying what a great back of the bullpen the Yankees have.
That's been the praise.
And now look at this.
The praise for the Mets has been the starting rotation, as the praise for the Yankees has been that back three. But now you only have the back one, it seems right now, with Dylan Betances, which is not a bad guy to have. But who's going to lead into him if you don't have Miller and you don't have Chapman now to cover?
You mentioned the Mets rotation, and maybe you didn't want to talk about this, but I feel we have to. It's been a big story.
We have some time, so... Yeah,
Matt Harvey, undisclosed
Yeah, I did
injury.
not want to talk about this, but yeah.
But I feel like we have to. It's big enough.
Yeah.
It was an undisclosed, non-baseball related injury, and because they didn't come out right away with it, speculation, it was crazy.
Naturally.
People coming up with, random injuries that he possibly could or could not have had. In the end, it was a blood clot in his bladder, and you said that he got it from not using the bathroom enough during the games?
The reports are that type of ailment arises from you not using the bathroom regularly.
With the type of gamer he is, I'm not surprised.
And but you have to understand, it's a slower paced game, baseball. You have time.
You do, but you're also Matt Harvey.
And you're Matt Harvey,
but he stays on the mound with bloody noses. And
I know he's a workhorse.
Yeah,
but for certain things, you definitely don't want to scare the Mets organization, even though
scared every
talking
fan,
about
whole
how,
organization.
I know John, if you were to lose a pitcher other than Bartolo Colon, it'd probably be Matt Harvey based on loyalty, and I think most Mets fans would agree with you. But that's a different issue. Now, this was a health issue.
What, you mean if we were to lose one pitcher, which would I rather have lost out of the four?
You said that Matt Harvey's not as the...
No, not to injury. Not to injury.
Well, no, you don't want to lose anyone to injury.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if there was one...
No, I'm just saying that you wouldn't have in the starting rotation. Like, just if they were to leave, you'd be okay with
No, that absolutely not. For this year, it's different. I'm saying that's for the future plans. I don't see Harvey signing a long-term deal. So
when
if we were to trade him...
expire? Does he have 2 years?
He has a few years left, 2 or 3 years. He does have a while. But based on performance this year, Steven Matz, I'm the least worried with if he got injured. However, I don't want to see anybody injured.
Of course.
Harvey's a big
When I say lose, I don't mean to injury.
Yeah.
I would never...
Signing long-term, I don't see Harvey as a smart idea because, he had Tommy John, but all of them had it aside from Syndergaard. And just the fact that he's not as loyal and he's going for money, so he's going to have a big contract. But what next?
But that blood clot. He didn't talk to the media after his last spring training start, which was today, because he didn't want to. He was quote unquote frustrated with the headlines.
I'd be frustrated too.
Of course,
speculation. I mean,
speculation will kill you. Our speculation will kill you.
Speculation will.
So, we're going to wrap... I want to wrap that part up because, again, I wasn't a fan of that. But I planned this show out very carefully. I wanted to get that out of the way because we have some more fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick breather and then get going on that.
Say our Twitter handles, which I believe I messed up at first. It's actually...
Yeah, I'll correct it, and that's actually new. We are... at the Mancave NY Sports at twitter.com, of course. And if you want to follow John or I, it is John97 Jackson and Raf_Elia. That's ELIA. And if you want to tune in on YouTube, it's the Mancave ! That is as well on Spreaker and on SoundCloud.
For the first time.
So
we're
recording on SoundCloud now. So please follow us on SoundCloud, which you could do.
Yes,
I'm unfamiliar with the Spreaker world, but we get some views from there, so I'm not against it. Let's get started. A quick tease. What do you want to do for the second half?
Let's stay in New York and talk about the Jets.
Okay, so the Jets, they recently released the top. I don't know what website it was. I'm gonna get that. But
yeah, it could have been opinionated or whatever, but it brings up a good conversation.
Oh, it does. They ranked the best receiver duos, like the dual threats receiving wise, and that could go tight end receiver.
Yeah.
Or it could go receiver, and it's great. I actually enjoyed reading it.
Read it from 5th to 1st if you have it in front of you.
I do.
Right now.
I don't. But I have.
Okay.
I do not actually. I just have the. I'll get it for you, but.
Okay.
Why don't you just introduce the fact that the Jets.
The Jets are number 1. Yes. Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. It doesn't really surprise me. It shouldn't surprise anybody. Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker on that team together has made.
It surprised me, honestly.
Who do you think should have?
No. I agree with it. It surprised me that other people agreed.
Okay,
honestly,
yeah. I know you feel maybe we have some bias as Jet fans, but anyway, they're number 1.
You know, they're aging guys. They're not.
Yeah, but no, they're kind of in their prime. A little bit past.
They're very close to in their prime.
Don't look to the future though, because they will decline. They'll start declining with their ages. But right now, I would not rather have anybody else.
You would not rather have anybody else.
No other duo rather than, Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker.
No, it's a great duo, and it brings up a conversation, but here we go. We have you want me to read it up or down?
Go from 5th to 1st. I do remember some of them, but...
We have number 5, Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders with the Denver Broncos, of course.
That surprised me, though, that there were only 5.
I'm surprised. What do you mean? It would surprise me if they didn't have Mark Sanchez going in as quarterback. I know that this is quarterback
based on
bias,
wide receiver.
But I have to believe that whoever wrote this has to believe that. Which is why I'm surprised they put the Jets as number 1, because you don't have a quarterback. I know this is being based off of just wide receiver skill in general, but I have to believe that you want to put your money where your mouth is at the end of the season, and you have to believe that they're not going to perform as well if they don't have Fitzpatrick, who knew the system. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into Fitzpatrick's impact.
AJ Green and Tyler Eifert, I love. I think that's a great thing.
AJ Green makes that, though.
Oh, of course. I like Tyler Eifert, though.
Just like Demaryius Thomas makes the other one.
Here's one that I was waiting for, and I'm glad it came in as 3. Rob Gronkowski and Martellus Bennett. I know it might surprise some people, but remember when it was Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez? They blew it up, until...
Yeah, the surprising part, like you said, was the fact that it's 2 tight ends. Usually, especially
definitely.
Considering this is more wide receiver duos
or wide receiver tight end.
Yeah.
You rarely get that tight end. But let's not forget how Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez complemented each other. They blew it up, so that's going to be fun. Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns.
This surprised me.
That surprised me, but I love it. I love Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns.
They're not
in
big
that combination.
names.
And
they're not big names.
I think they're going to be up and coming, and which surprised me because I would put them top 5. I might put them lower though, just because they're sleepers. I feel.
Yeah, they're not big names.
They're not being.
But they produce on the field.
Oh, they're great. And then topping off the list, of course, Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. Now listen. You have new guys. You have Brandon Marshall coming into a new system. But I have to believe that Fitzpatrick coming in with Chan Gailey, in knowing the system, it made it so easy for Brandon Marshall to come into the system because you had a quarterback who knew what he was doing in the system. Brandon Marshall just needed to stand there and catch balls, and that's what he's great at. So it's big, but
now,
I had something for that.
Yeah, here's an idea, a thought from our contributor, Ethan. Follow him on Twitter, at Ethan_Illers. Anyway, he says... Will this rank go down of Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker if Fitz is not the quarterback again?
Let me start off by saying that's not the question that should be asked. The question that should be asked is Fitzpatrick going up or down value-wise based on Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker's performance? Because whether or not they have Fitzpatrick, this is based on how they perform. And I think they perform great no matter who's their quarterback.
Yeah.
If the quarterback can't reach them, it's not their problem. The fact that they can't get a ball thrown their way, well, it's not their problem. They have skill.
Here's something.
Because Fitzpatrick is a journeyman. He's not
here's something as well.
Brady.
Think about it. We have Eric Decker, he performed with Tim Tebow, and we have Brandon Marshall, who performed with Jay Cutler. So the quarterback doesn't make a huge deal with them. Obviously, we've seen...
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think that's the big issue. I think the big issue now is in Fitzpatrick, while he's trying to get aged... he's trying to get paid, he now has... is it him, or is it the receiving duo? Now, I think he, with Chan Gailey, made it easier for the receiving duo, but would they have succeeded? Again, as you just said, they had Jay Cutler, they had...
I think it was Fitzpatrick who was made by these receivers. If Fitzpatrick was on a Jets team with Jeremy Curley and other guys like Jess Cumberland as one of the big targets or something like that, he would not perform.
And I agree, Fitz needs to come back. We talk about that. Fitz needs to come back, but he's not... I understand he doesn't want to get paid as... He's going to get paid... What the Jets want him to be paid at is the highest paid backup. He doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be paid like a starter. But I'd say 10 to 12. 10 to 12 million is fair. More than fair.
Yeah.
Because...
How many years?
I wouldn't give him more than 3.
I'd be scared just to give him 3.
Yeah,
but I do.
I wouldn't give him, like, absolute no more than 3. Like, I think he should get less. And I think 10 to 12 is more than fair because that's a starter and he's not a great starter. But listen, I want him back. I'm not going to bash him. I do want him back, and I think that the Jets would not have had the season they had. But not because of him, because of the way he fit into the system. He has to realize that he has not performed this well under anyone else other than Chan Gailey. That's where he's had most of his success in general.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's go on to another topic.
Okay. Well, make sure I want a topic for the last.
We'll leave these two for the last two. Or do you want to separate them?
No, that's fine. I want to separate that. I want to talk about this and this, the last one.
Okay, so
because
let's
think that'll be... Okay. Let's just go into...
Yeah.
Well,
so let's
go
talk
into
USA soccer.
We have not gone into yet. Yeah.
We do have a soccer ball.
We have a soccer ball.
We will talk about soccer. We said when it comes to soccer time, this is soccer talking time
It
right
is.
now.
We have the World Cup coming up in
2018.
2 years. We have the Euro Cup this year, which I'll be following because Italy for life.
He's Italian.
I am. So I'll be bringing that up from time to time. But there's also the CONCACAF qualifier, which qualifies the United States for the World Cup, and they beat Guatemala yesterday 4-0. 4-0.
It was a huge game because they needed that win if they wanted to keep their destiny in their hands.
Now listen, I didn't doubt that they were going to make the World Cup. I don't think many people did doubt it. But yeah, it's always scary.
Of course,
you always want to have it in your hands. You don't want to. You don't want to risk it because
Absolutely.
you could be the safest team in the world. You just don't want to ever take that risk. So it was a big win. Did you watch the game?
I did not watch the game.
Catch any pieces of it? No. I caught bits and pieces. Classic United States. Guatemala, not a strong team, but the United States has the strikers. They have the midfield. They were able to control most of the possession. It's good. The United States, they made it past the round. They made it past the group stages last World Cup, and I think that got a lot of United States people that were not soccer fans excited.
Yeah, it was soccer mania back then.
You love to see your national team do well. I think it's just something about that. That's why so many people tune into the Olympics.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to soccer, do you remember the last time that the USA team did not qualify for the World Cup?
Did not qualify for the World Cup. Well, they're in the CONCACAF, so it's pretty... I'm not going to say it's easy because I don't want to downplay it.
Yeah, but for the USA, it shouldn't be too hard.
No, it's not. I'll tell you. I'll get that. But also, I want to focus, since we're on that... Actually, we're running out of time, so there's no need to go on for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be fun to watch how they perform in the World Cup. Take it one step at a time. They're not world ranked yet. They're not going to be...
They're not as good as the women's team in their competition class.
No, I think they could... if you had a women's team versus the men's team, I think the United States men's team could win. But when you talk about ranking-wise, the United States women's team is the best in the world. So you can never compare that.
So let's end our first part of the show with Ethan's comment. The second part of our show, and introduce the third part of the show. But first, Ethan says soccer is slowly becoming popular in the U.S., if they end up missing the 2018 World Cup, it would be devastating.
Yeah, I see.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think that, and that's something that you don't recognize because the United States, they should make the World Cup. It would be an upset if they didn't, which is great.
And it's a growing sport in the U.S.
NYCFC is catching up steam, but we got our soccer out of the way.
Yep.
So we're going to talk some more about some other sports, but first, let's get our Twitter feed. We are at Mancave NY Sports. That's our Twitter handle. John is John97 Jackson. I am Raf_Aaliyah. And if you want to subscribe to our YouTube, it's the Mancave ! And that same account is with our Spreaker and our SoundCloud, which we now have a SoundCloud.
For the first time in Mancave history.
So definitely follow us, subscribe, do whatever you can. Like us on Facebook. I mean, do whatever suits you best. But just watching the show, honestly, is the best. So let's move on. We have two other things to talk about. Yeah. I want to start with the March Madness thing because I want to end on our special thing because we had an argument about something. We had a group chat going on this weekend.
So stay tuned if you want to see the argument.
We definitely
differing opinions here.
Let's want to hear about that.
Let's talk March Madness first. So we finally have come to the time where it is the Final Four of the NCAA tournament, and we have 4 teams left. We have UNC, Oklahoma, Villanova, and a surprise 10 seed in Syracuse. So the matchups are Syracuse.
Very dramatic, John.
Yes. Syracuse will be playing UNC. Villanova will be playing Oklahoma.
2 seed versus 2 seed.
No.
1 seed versus 10 seed.
This is interesting because the 2 versus 2 seed, we really don't know who's going to win. It's a little too close to call.
So let's talk about that one first then.
Okay, who do you think's going to win?
Okay, we have Nova.
I would have to look at the stats.
Nova.
I would have to
look. So Villanova is a choking team.
Okay.
They've notoriously choked. But they made it so far this year.
They really have.
They should have. If they were gonna choke, they should have choked already. It's a different team, obviously. I think Villanova has what it takes. I like them from the beginning. And I never go based on this. I hate that. I hate the fact that people are like, the Jets can't win a playoff game, so
because of the Jets.
Because they're the Jets. I hate that argument.
No, it's
like
based on the team.
They're the Jets. Like me and John were talking about how the Giants have the best chance of winning the NFC East, but people are debating that because they're the Giants and they don't win the NFC East when they make the playoffs.
Doesn't work.
I hate that. But in this case, I was saying to win all those games, Villanova, I just didn't see it happening. They proved me wrong, and they proved me right at the same time. So I definitely think Villanova has the weapons, and I think they move on. What about you?
I disagree. I just agree. Yeah, Villanova. I think I didn't have either team making it this
Forget
far,
about brackets.
So,
I'm not talking about brackets. Those went out the window a long while.
UNC is my only team left in the bracket. But let's move on to UNC, the more interesting game. Do you see an upset happen there? Do you see an upset?
Well, first of all,
one of the best teams in the nation, ranked that way and playing that way, versus a team that came out of nowhere to some people. But you disagree. You say they shouldn't be a 10 seed.
They came in based on the committee.
Yeah.
So this is a committee-chosen team. They didn't win their way in.
Okay.
I said from the beginning, from when they came in, I said this is not a 10 seed. The fact that they couldn't win their way in and they had a terrible last stretch didn't take away from the fact that they are a terrific playing team. And if they weren't playing in the brackets, if they weren't playing Michigan State, I would have had them advancing. But I had them losing to Michigan State, but we all know how that turned out.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee, thanks a lot.
But Syracuse is not a 10 seed, and I posted that on my Twitter feed.
You rarely post, but you had to post that.
I had to post that. I said Syracuse is not a 10 seed. They are simply masquerading as a 10 seed. This is a team that deserves, I'd say, a top 5 seeding. And they're just sneaking their way through as a 10 seed.
Low-key sneaking their way through.
But now they have to face UNC.
Oh, it's going to be tough.
So I want to root for Syracuse being a New York guy, being a guy who loves the underdog.
Absolutely,
being a guy who doesn't have UNC in his bracket now. So I'm going for Syracuse. But in the end, you're going to see it's going to be UNC.
I completely agree. It's too hard for a 10 seed to upset. But I'm gonna say this. If Syracuse beats UNC, they win the championship.
Oh, if Syracuse beats
beat
UNC, because there's the only doubt in my mind is can they beat the caliber? They're a great team. Syracuse is. I said they're a 10 seed. They're a 5 seed masquerading as a 10 seed. But either way, they're a 5 seed, and this is UNC, who's a 1 seed. If they could prove that they could play to the caliber of a 1 seed, sure they can win.
Yeah, either
I don't see that happening.
That part of the bracket, you have UNC playing Syracuse. One of those teams are going to win the national championship. I feel. Fun.
I don't think. I think whoever wins that game wins the national championship. I agree with you 100%.
So our last topic.
We'll stay with basketball.
Our last topic. Knicks and Nets. Now, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to bash them again? Say how terrible they are? No, not this time. We're actually going to look to better times. We're going to look to the future when the Knicks and Nets are good again. We don't know if that's next year.
Okay, let's not go that far.
Or 100 years.
Let's not go that far. I asked the question. We were talking in a group chat with, it was us, Ethan Illers, we had a couple more guys. We were just talking, and I brought up honestly, we were bashing the Knicks and the Nets.
Yeah.
But then I brought it up. I said, when this happens, in 100 years or so, when the Knicks or the Nets make the playoffs, which one makes the playoffs first? So we had that argument going on. Not an argument. We had that debate going on.
Let's just introduce. You say who?
I said that the Nets have the better chance.
I say the Knicks have the better chance.
And then I'm not going to bring up other opinions. This is not like when we did our Super Bowl predictions.
It says, whoa, just take it easy, man.
But we definitely, it's not, honestly, this debate can't get too heated because they both are terrible, and I don't see them do you see them either making the playoffs in the next 2 seasons?
I say the Knicks could.
In the next 2 seasons?
Yes, absolutely, based on free agency. If they have a good free agency season, if Phil Jackson does what he needs to do, if he brings in a name like Kevin Durant in free agency, I say the playoffs. I say you have to at least consider the playoffs because this is a team, the Knicks, that this year were actually competing at a point, and they competed because they had Porzingis playing well, and because they had Melo playing well.
So I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna contradict you, and then I'm gonna give mine.
Yes. Okay.
So I think you're right. I think they have every bit of potential to be the best team, but here's what has to happen: they need a star player to come to the team. They need to get rid of this triangle offensive scheme.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Get rid of that. They need to fill a whole bunch of other holes. They need Melo to start acting like he's the star player of the team and start playing like he deserves the money. And they need Porzingis.
Well, he's playing that way. He's just not acting that way.
I think
okay,
that.
Yeah, I know.
You can buy LeBron argument.
Yeah.
That's a whole bunch of haves to happen, They need to happen.
Yeah, but
I said that so wrong.
How about
need to happen? No, you got your chance.
Okay.
I'll give my argument for the Nets. We have a minute. We have 2 minutes. 2-minute warning. Oh God, I feel like the Giants trying to manage the clock.
Okay, keep going.
They need to have all those things happen. It's so tough. It could happen, and if it does happen this offseason, I'll flip flop. I'll go and say the Knicks have the better chance. But as of right now, they have too many positions to fill. The Nets, we came into the season thinking the Nets could win the East. Not win the East. They could make it No. We said that they have every bit of opportunity to make it in this East. It's a weak East.
Not anymore, though.
Yeah, but that's because a whole bunch of teams are overperforming and or underperforming. The Nets are underperforming by a mile, and we said that at the beginning of the season. We were bashing the Nets, particularly because we put them on a little bit higher of a pedestal than now they deserve. But I definitely think they have more weapons than the Knicks do as a team unit. And I think if they decide to play, you got guys that could play. You have a guy that plays better. These guys have no point guard.
I want to hear names.
You have Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. But when you talk about
so Brook Lopez is better than Melo.
No, but is Melo playing well?
Yeah.
You have Melo and Porzingis, but they can't play as a team. They're not winning games. The Nets, even though the drop-off is just not there. The Knicks have Porzingis, Melo. My hands are high right now. Porzingis, Melo, then drops off with the other players. You have
Robin Lopez plays pretty well.
You have more of a stepladder with the Nets, I feel. Like, you have guys that they're not bottom of the line. If they play like a team, if they play like they were supposed to at the beginning of the season, I feel like they have less positions to fill. I feel like they could definitely do better.
So we could definitely have gone more in depth with this debate, but we do not have any more time.
We have 5 seconds on Spreaker. Thank you for tuning into the Man Cave. Okay, that's gone. Okay, but we're still on with YouTube.
For about another 5 seconds. So thanks for watching the Man Cave Live. I'm John Jackson.
Raphael Aaliyah.
See ya.